Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. This is a story we've been covering the last couple of days, ever since Next News Network posted the information. And the story is of Martha Paschke, who is a alderhuman in the city of Geneva, and some of these other unhinged leftists out in the western suburbs, targeting businesses in the western burbs, particularly Geneva and St. Charles, but also Wheaton and South Elgin and Batavia, so Elburn, Elgin, all over the place. Businesses they've identified as being supportive of the Republican Party, supportive of Trump, supportive of local candidates who are affiliated with the Republican Party or are also supportive of Trump, you know, the guilt by association game. And Martha Paschke, who's becoming the face of this, and I think deservedly so, at least we're trying to make her the face of it. She's apparently the person who put together literally a spreadsheet with an enemies list and the crimes against humanity these businesses have committed. We talked to Casey Gulbrough yesterday, who owns Foxfire and the Copper Fox in Geneva. I guess Foxfire is one of the places that our friend Tom Sadek has organized a resurgence of the rebel diners to go patronize tomorrow, right?
Yes.
I saw he's texting me. They've got a reservation for 25 at Foxfire tomorrow.
Yeah, so if people want to come out, just go 25, and there's more room if people want to come on over. So,
if you haven't checked this Next News Network thread out, do so. I retweeted it a couple days ago, and it's got the spreadsheet because the spreadsheet is just fascinating and disturbing. And fascinating in a disturbing way. You know, the descriptions of the offenses committed that demand boycotting and wherever else these people want to take it, I don't know. For example, Luau Coffee in Elburn, anti-mask, notorious staging spot for Kane GOP before canvassing. They're talking about this like supply depots of an enemy of the state that need to be eliminated. Well, we've got another business that we're going to speak with, business owner, Larry Bettag, and their crime from the spreadsheet. They own the Bettag group in St. Charles. Owners Larry and Michelle Bettag, large GOP donors, behind the Campton Warriors, ran Kerry Lake fundraiser at their house.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, well, let's talk to this ne'er-do-well, according to the powers that be in the western suburbs. Larry Bettag, VP of National Production at the Bettag Group in St. Charles. Larry, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
I'm humbled to be with a couple of rock stars like you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
easy there,
you're welcome. Pleasure. But would you like to plead for mercy for the crimes that you have committed in the western burbs?
Yeah, I was going to go to confession earlier this week, but maybe I can air my grievances here too.
Yes, where it's cathartic. Yes.
Very cathartic.
What's your reaction to what's this targeting that's being done, and again that spreadsheet is just the key. That's really next level stuff with these details about your activities and why you need to be boycotted, or your business needs to be boycotted and such.
Well, they don't have everything right, that's for sure. They got 2 out of the 3 things right, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I think if they're going to put stuff out there, they might want to be accurate. I think to blanketly do that's probably not appropriate. But you know what I was thinking when knowing that I was going to be on, have the ability to be on here with you guys, is that she's washed her hands of it and said that I'm the Facebook administrator of this group. Well, I'm an administrator of about 7 groups myself, none of which are political. But as an administrator, you can turn on commenting, you can approve people, you can approve, or you can go ahead and block. And I'm with a number of groups where every single comment gets approved. So for her to go ahead and try to wash her hands of it is probably very mature, she can't have a group and say that she's not responsible for that.
Yeah.
So the complicity goes to her.
And I mean, is she taking ownership of putting together the spreadsheet, or whose handiwork was that? She doesn't want to talk about it.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. But the thing is, it's a group that she's the administrator of. And I keep thinking that. Go ahead.
No, and I mean, and like, how prominent is she, and is this group, and how many people like her are being public about their desire to see your business and others boycotted and so forth?
I've never heard of her until now. Now she's prominent. She's got the fame and fortune that she wants.
Yeah.
I think there's groups that are out here that are incredibly vocal. In prepping to come in here, I did a little research on her on Facebook, and she said she spent 20 years traveling the world as a missionary. Or a missionary's daughter. I find it hard to believe that this woman who has those Christ-based love, and her post yesterday was about kindness, it would go ahead and vilify people who have really, I've spent 30 years, I grew up here, and I publicly, I don't do anything to the left or the right. I love them all. I really do. My private matters and the way I vote and what I believe are my matters. But to go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and vilify people who don't believe the same things that I do, I think it comes down to one or two different things. Either, I hate saying it this way, but she's incredibly stupid, or she has a very, very low emotional intelligence. Because I think about this. She lost, obviously, in her election results, and so she allows this to be permitted on her site. And as a result of her emotional intelligence or her stupidity, she, as an employee of a city, in the face of a city that wants to attract and develop Geneva into something of prominence, has done a lot of things now to hurt a lot of people that have invested years, decades into their community. That's a problem. Well, I don't understand why Geneva would allow that. And then I guess she's an employee of Aurora.
City of Aurora. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've got calls into Richard Irvin for a comment on her. And by the way, she can be both stupid and have low emotional intelligence. A little bit of both. What about St. Charles? I mean, since there's so many St. Charles businesses on this list as well, have village officials or the Chamber of Commerce or anybody in St. Charles other than the individual business owners commented?
No, the only thing that I've heard of, I mean, maybe they have, but I'm not aware of it. All I've heard of is the businesses. And I've gotten calls, believe it or not, I've gotten blown up through my texts. I've gotten blown up from people out of state. I guess this made the Gateway Pundit. Mm-hmm. And I have people that have been clients of mine for years saying, you're famous. And I'm like, well, I guess maybe that's a different way of free PR, for me. So.
Yeah. Well, tell us your business. The Bettag Group is a real estate mortgage broker.
Well, I'm a vice president of national production for Guild or Cherry Creek Mortgage, and I've served for over 30 years. I'm an attorney. I work at a law firm as well in Geneva. But I got to tell you, not once have I ever asked a single person what their political affiliation is. I don't care. I like serving people. I just love serving people. My private life, I have a Vince Lombardi mentality, which is God first, family second, and then Green Bay Packers, or I say my business is third. But I think that they have a real problem with the grassroots. They name the Warriors. Well, the Warriors is just a group of people that are really grassroots. And what's grassroots? Grassroots are just people like you and I, with incorporated or not incorporated. We're not incorporated. We have people that show up, and we're just concerned about the Lombardi thing, God first and family second, and where are we taking our country? Where are we taking our country locally? And to have them, for me to hear that Mayor Burns isn't saying anything, at least he wasn't as of yesterday when I listened to your show, he's complicit.
Yeah,
you have to speak up on this stuff. The silence is complicity.
Well, do you feel like you live in a communist country sometimes? I mean, did somebody? So you had this fundraiser for Carrie Lake. Somebody snitched on you? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, I guess that's an
Really?
evil thing. You know what happened with that whole thing is someone called me and said, hey, she's going to be doing a tour up here, and she's got all these fundraisers. Would you mind hosting her Sunday at 4:00 someday, many months ago? And I'm like, gosh, that'd be great. What an honor. And so we opened our house, and now we have really quickly become the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's not allowed.
The
It's your private home.
I mean, the businesses, all these businesses are being targeted for having something in common: support of center-right candidates or center-right policies or exhibiting center-right thoughts. I mean, is this having? I know it's having a boomerang on them in terms of generating attention for the businesses and sending a lot of customers people's way, and that's a good thing. What about in terms of becoming more vocal on behalf of center-right ideas and candidates in locally and in this state, since this state.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I will tell you this: I'm passionate about the God first, family second, but under that comes taxation, and we are seeing this taxation is out of control in King County. When I say out of control, it's out of control. Madam Chair is somebody who just likes to print money and then tax people later on. And she hires unions to do the work, and those unions will go ahead from outside of King County, mind you, donate to her campaign so that she stays funded. It's something where the affordability factor, it makes it incredibly difficult. Let me just tell you this, as an attorney, I will tell you that I have a lot of my clients, and as a lender, that say, can I get approved to leave Illinois? And I think about the three states, California, New York, and Illinois, that have the biggest governors who are fighting against Trump, and yet they're the number one states that people are fleeing. So is it a big deal? Yeah. I tell people, we can't leave. You're going to leave. They're going to go ahead and try to infiltrate those states. At some point, someone has to stand up and do the right thing, and a bully's a bully until they get punched in the mouth. And she needs to get punched in the mouth. And we need people like me, like you, like Amy, that said, hey, we got to get involved at the local level, and we're having a great success here, and they don't like it at all.
Well, I mean, you're the Madam Chair, King County Board Chairman, you're talking about is Connie Pirogue, and the King County Board is dominated now, something didn't think I'd ever say in my lifetime, dominated by Democrats. So something, I mean, I'm glad to see the business community, all those businesses listed are doing something, but seems to be something missing in terms of the organizing that's required to change the balance of power.
Yeah, something's missing, and we're trying to get candidates in there that are, I'm going to say this very bluntly, America first. Mm-hmm. I think that they think the America first are all these, this MAGA whack jobs. That's not the case at all. God first, family second. I don't know a single left-winger in theory be against those things, except maybe they hate God. I don't know. I would think they like their families.
Have you considered running?
Not if Martha Paschke was a member, but anyway.
No, I don't want to. You know what? Put a gun to my head, put a gun to my mouth to sit in one of those meetings. I've watched a number of those meetings. I just want to get stuff done, and I feel like I'm doing more here, helping champion the candidates. But for me to sit I'm too ADD and hyperactive. I do not want to sit an hour in a meeting, much less 5 hours in one of those stupid board meetings.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Yeah, that's fair. Larry Bettag is the VP of National Production at the Bettag Group in St. Charles. Larry, thanks so much for joining us, and appreciate what you're doing out there in St. Charles.
Hey, thank you for your voice. Keep up the good work. I'm a major fan of your work.
Thank you.
Thanks. And he joined us. Well, before we sign off here, just reminding people, if you would like to attend tomorrow's lunch at Foxfire, it's between 11:30 and 1:30. Table of 25 has been reserved. If you are interested, please email Tom at freedomsquare.com. Again, that's Tom at freedomsquare.com.
Rebel Diners Unite.
Yes, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
$20 million. No, it's not the national debt. It's the buying spree at Fox Valley Coins. And it's on from now until Thanksgiving. It's really the perfect storm. Gold and silver are